Indepth Arts and Care podcast, where creativity meets compassion, is a captivating podcast that invites listeners on a journey of exploration where the transformative power of art and the art of caring collide. Delving into the lives of remarkable individuals, this show uncovers the profound ways in which creativity, empathy, and compassion intersect, reshaping our perspectives on the human experience.
Are you looking for a fun new way to find interesting stories? Well, look no further. Welcome to No Strings Attached e-News. From lifestyle articles to news in the entertainment world, we are the premier e-news site to find articles in various subjects. As our online magazine is always expanding, we know there is an article here for you. Find out what's buzzing at nsaen.com.
Good day, and thank you for joining us here at the Indepth Arts and Care podcast. I'm your host, Michael B. Judkins, and this episode is sponsored by OC14 Entertainment, L.L.C. It is creating stories that reach, teach, and inspire. And today episode, I have a very special guest. I can't wait till you guys get to know this individual, from a mental health advocate to a visual artist to a motivator and a creator. This person does it all. Welcome, Michael.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I can't complain too much. So thank you for stopping in to the Indepth Arts and Care podcast and letting us into your private space.
Yeah.
Right? Into your private space and to
Yeah.
see your artwork. So why don't you introduce yourself to my audience and tell us who you are?
Okay, so for those, my name is Michael Freeman. I am a visual and legally impaired and legally blind visual abstract artist. That's the title. But beyond that, I'm just a person that is living a life to help others, inspire others. So I am originally from New Jersey. I was born and raised. I was born in Livingston, New Jersey.
Okay.
Raised in East Orange, New Jersey, the North area. Then after that, I moved to Scotch Plains, Fanwood, Plainfield, New Jersey area. From there, I moved to PA. I was following my family. my mom got remarried. I didn't think she would. I am a mom. It's me, my mom, and my sister.
Wonderful.
My mom raised 2 kids by herself. My dad passed away. I didn't know him. He was murdered, so I didn't get to know him.
Well, our condolences.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, it was rough, but it made me a better person. Dealing with that, as a young black man without a father figure, and dealing with family and, everything. So it had its moments, but I think at this time, being a more adult and looking back at things that I went through, made me more creative, made me more empathetic to people, more want to help people and be of service to others that might be going through any issues of loss, mental health, so stuff like that. I was also mentally, physically, and sexually abused as a child. So dealing with all that, imagine dealing with your vision, and dealing with being impaired, going to high school, lost your dad, never knew your dad, and then being physically and mentally and sexually abused. Imagine what you're going through as a kid and adolescence.
Well, I could definitely imagine that. Thank you for sharing that and giving us a real vivid start to your journey, right?
Yeah.
I love that. But as a mental health advocate myself, I can understand how you said, imagine going through all of that and still having to be yourself, right?
And not even knowing yourself.
Not even knowing yourself.
I just still don't know myself. I still don't know fully who Michael is because you're going through so much and you're still, you have an idea of a structure or your background that you think who you are, but
Right.
you really don't know until you experience and going through things, and you're like, okay, this is who I'm becoming, and this is who I want to be, and this is who I want to be in this society. And people look up and say, hey, especially kids that come from your area,
Right.
from the inner city and urban, and they're like, they don't have a lot of influence. And I want to be like, hey, you know what? I came from where you came from. My mom struggled. She worked. She was a single mom, raising 2 kids on her own. So it was like being a latchkey kid. I'm a preacher's kid. I'm a PK. So you imagine what all that was, man.
Yeah. Well, let's start to dive deep into that, right?
Mhm.
When you talk about abstract, and as an artist myself, I love abstract and I can understand what abstract is, but can you explain what is abstract art?
Abstract art is the ability to express yourself with no boundaries.
Well said.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine it, break it down even closer. So everything that you've been through in your life, or people said about you, or they say, hey, I know Mike, or this is Mike, or Mike, you can't do that, or Mike, you're over here. They put you in this box, and you're like, no, that's not me. You don't know, and you're breaking out of the box. So that's why I say I'm beyond people's expectations.
Love that.
Don't put your expectations on me, because I'm beyond that. So abstract goes along with that. I'm not in that box. So abstract art is anything you wanted to be without boundaries.
Wow. I love that. Anything that you want to be without boundaries. It's the box, right?
Yeah.
But then you're everything outside of the box.
Yeah. And that box has to be broken.
Let's talk about that, right?
So that box, that you have that box here, right? A square. It could be a original box. I think I have a painting that I have here. Oh no, I can't get to it.
No worries.
It's called Out of the Box. And it's dripping, it's busted at the bottom, and the paint is dripping down. So it's letting people know I'm breaking out. So you can break out of your box. And no matter what you want to do, where it's creative, filming, painting, you can do filming abstract probably. I don't know. I'm not, that's more to your area. But, you have to have some guidelines.
Yeah.
But then in that guidelines, you can be free. You know what I'm saying? People think you can always be in creating art. You have to be in this same area. Contemporary art. Gotta draw. I can't draw worth a dime. Somebody asked me to draw a stick figure.
Yeah.
I can't draw worth a dime. I can sketch on a tablet, but I can't, because that's not my forte.
Right.
That's not my part of my box.
Your artistry.
Yes.
Right.
So out of that box comes abstract. I can be free. I don't have to worry about limitations or having somebody's other's opinion upon me of my artwork.
Yeah. I love that. And thank you for painting again the picture, right? Because you mentioned contemporary art. And then we're talking about your abstract art as an artist. But contemporary art and sometimes abstract art does blend.
Yes.
From different time to time, depending on the creator, right?
Yes.
The artist's perspective.
Yes.
How much of your abstract artwork blends with your real life?
Ooh, you really want to go down to the bottom of the ocean.
It's the Indepth Arts and Care podcast.
You want to go, Mike wants to go down to the bottom of the sea today.
I knew that would be a good question.
Yes. So, not knowing that I've always been creative and never ever really expanded on my creativity.
Wow, say that again.
Never expanded on my creativity. but felt creative.
That moved me in so many different ways right now.
And we can sit in that for a second.
Yeah.
We can sit in
Yeah.
Never knowing that you always been creative, but never knew how to be in that creative space.
Yeah.
We all have a gift. We all have a gift. No matter what. I hear people all the time, I can't paint. Yes, you can. You just have to tap into it. You have to be open-minded. And let your mind take over and be free and follow it. And your heart and your passion and your feelings. And as you were saying, how does my art connect with me of who I am? So think about the stuff that I've been to. I've been physically, mentally, sexually abused. Held that in. Went to therapy several different times. Therapy helps.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Therapy helps, guys.
Yes, it does.
It's nothing wrong with it. And being a preacher's kid, yes, I was raised in the church. I believe in God. But also, God gives you wisdom. He gives you discernment. And he said, you make one step, I make two. I don't want to preach, but...
Sell it to the choir.
Look, I don't want to preach, but there are times that you have to step out on your own.
Yes, you do.
And step out of your comfort zone for God to move in your life, to get you to be creative, to accept that creativity, to go beyond that boundaries that people have put on you. So by doing that, you have what I put into my artwork. Now, a lot of my artwork, you'll see a lot of color. You'll see a lot of brightness. Because that's how I feel most of the time. But there's sometimes, some days, people see me, oh, Mike, you're awesome, man. You smiling all the time. You're talking. You're trying to uplift people, but people don't see when it's the downtime.
Yeah.
People don't see when you're struggling.
The behind the closed door moments.
Behind the closed doors. Don't see the tears. The no's that you get from being creative. How many no's have you gotten? How many shut doors have you gotten? And that's what part of builds me an artist. It's easy to collapse and fold. This creative space, it's not for the lighthearted.
I agree.
You have to have thick skin.
I agree.
So most of the artwork you see is my background. What's in me that I'm bringing out and putting on canvas so people can see I'm leaving my legacy and my story through my artwork.
Wonderful.
And I want people to see the good and the bad, the humanitarian, the fighter for his own culture, his own background, for all equality and diversity. So that's what's in my artwork, and that's
well said. Well said. I mean, that was just beautiful, right? So you mentioned just a few minutes ago that you use a lot of bright colors, and I had the pleasure of looking at some of your artwork and seeing some of your artwork and have a piece of your artwork. So my next question, when you think about bright colors, and something I noticed in a lot of your work, there's a lot of use of orange and red. What are those two primary colors for you?
Red, I'm gonna have to go back. The red is representing the struggle and the tears, and not the actual physical, but the mental and the struggle of shedding all the blood and sweat that I put into my artwork. That's what the red stands for. I'm bleeding and I'm putting all my blood, sweat, and tears into my artwork on my canvas.
Wow.
The orange is, I use orange and yellow and stuff like that because I'm trying to be yellow as an art therapist is for positivity and brightness.
Right.
Orange is where you're in that middle of that brightness. You're still bright, but you're still moving forward. We always still have to move forward, no matter what we're going through.
Yes.
Wherever difficult times we're going through, whatever positive times we're going through, whether it's family, friends, art comes from a lot of different places. It's not just picking up a canvas and painting, because you got to deal with what's in here, what's in Mike, what's in Mike. Mike likes filming. You like filming. You like doing the podcast and stuff. But what drives you from that? What's in here? So for me, it's bringing all that as much as possible out with those colors and different colors that you see, like the red. Red is my sweat, my tears, my blood, my everything that I put into it. The yellows and the orange is like I'm still moving forward, trying to stay positive in the dark space.
Very nice. So thank you for giving us that description of those colors. And I picked those two particularly because I noticed that in your work, right?
Okay.
But reds and yellows and oranges, right, even in film, have a meaning as well too, right? Different meanings and how you use for temperature and whether you want to express a certain mood, right?
Yeah.
So it does have those use of colors as well too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch back just a tad bit on, you mentioned that you experienced some trauma growing up and which turned you into an artist.
Yeah.
Or kind of
Had
no idea. Or partnered with you on to bringing the artist out of you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
With trauma, when as a mental health advocate and a mental health therapist, with trauma, sometimes it's easy to recognize it, sometimes it's not so easy to recognize. And sometimes doing the work to heal oneself is a journey within itself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that journey.
What was that journey for, since you brought up the trauma, what was that journey for you to healing goes?
Awesome question. It's not a lot to think about. It's also letting go your ego.
Wow.
Letting you know that you need help. You need to talk to somebody. You need to have a circle of support of people that you can call on the phone maybe late at night and cry to, or having somebody that you can go and just spend an hour not even talking, just looking at each other, just like, I'm here for you, man.
Yeah.
You know, we were raised up, and you probably can really understand this. As a black man, we were raised not to cry, and we were just raised to suck it up and go through life. And God got you, pray, and that's fine. But that's my diet, not sugar.
That's okay. Health first.
Where was I? The struggle, right? We're talking about the struggle. Knowing that you need to let go of your ego.
Yeah.
I had to be completely honest and open and break myself down to say I need help. I was causing myself more detrimental, trying to hold that in and suppress all of that. Keep pushing it down, sweeping under the rug. It doesn't help, it doesn't get better, it gets worse. So what I would tell everybody is be able to let your ego go. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Go get help, no matter what you believe in, your faith, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, whatever you believe in. I don't care if you got orange, green, black, or white. Go get help.
Yeah.
Because in each culture that we have in diversity in this world, you always need a support system. You always need to be able to open up and talk to people.
I agree. You moved me again with with your answer, but I want to take it back again because
Okay.
what you said is so vital
Mhm.
to understanding oneself
Yeah.
and to understanding when a person is at a certain place in their life and they need to move things forward, right?
Yeah.
The perfect, I wouldn't even say just the perfect answer.
Mhm.
Ask for help.
It's nothing wrong because
No?
we are so. This
I
world
know.
is so crazy right now, and everything that's going on, no matter who you voted for, no matter who you believe in, what you not believe in, society for many, many years has said this is the blueprint.
Hmm.
Who wrote that blueprint?
That's a good question. Who did write that blueprint?
Who wrote the blueprint
Yeah.
of life?
Hmm. Hmm.
And think about it, and think about before social media. Think about before you had cell phones. And I'm telling my age. So anybody that has not experienced that, I tell my daughter, he's 28. I said, can you imagine living like me and your mom did? We didn't have cell phones.
That's right.
We had payphones.
That's
You walked to the payphone. You had to call somebody if you didn't have a phone in the house.
But wait a minute. You had to make sure you had a quarter in your pocket to call.
Well, you said a quarter. You gotta have a nickel,
at least
dime.
something, right, for the
You gotta have
extended minutes.
At least 75 cents for extended time.
For the extended time. I love it.
You made it quick.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that we have become a word I'm going to use, a microwave world.
Mm.
We always have to have something now. And I think of as far as being in that mental health, in that space, it can't be microwave.
Right.
You have to put in the time. You have to put in the work. You have to be let that ego go and know that you can get help. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to find therapists. You're going to find people that you don't gel with.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find, and you might need a little help. You might need a little medication. You might need just a timeout to cut everybody off.
Mm.
And when I say cut everybody off, the people are going to be like, cut people off? Okay, I can cut people off. But think about this. The people that you might have to cut off are the people that are the closest to you.
Right. Well, talk a little bit more about that, because cutting off can be a coping skill for some.
Yes.
And a coping skills for others, right?
Yes.
What are some of the coping skills that you use?
Well, when I mean cut off,
mm-hmm.
and I don't mean just cut off and don't talk to people, because that's not good.
Right.
That puts you, isolation is a big no.
You talk about identifying toxicity.
Yes.
And toxic people in your life. Yeah.
Yes. So if you don't have people in your life that are pouring into you, speaking life, words have life.
Yeah.
They have death. You can speak life or death into somebody.
That's right.
And you want to have people in your circle that are going to speak life into you, not death. So that's what I mean, cutting the people that are or cutting the fat, as they say on a steak, cutting that fat away of people that are not going to help you be the best person for you or help you move forward to success.
And moving forward to success or being a better person an individual can work on and be for themselves takes a stance, takes a movement, takes courage, but not just courage, willpower.
Yeah, and that comes over time.
Yeah.
That doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
You're gonna cry a lot. You're gonna want to give up. You know, I've been there. I've been where I thought, I was born in 1973. I was born with a vision impairment.
Yeah.
Couldn't really see well, dealing with that. And then going through school with that and dealing with teachers back there. And so imagine in 1973, the doctors and everything were different.
That's right.
They couldn't handle on somebody. So what they do, they put you in special ed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you are in a special ed class because they can't understand you because you have a visual impairment. Not that I was dumb.
They just seen it as different.
It's seen as different. And different is not bad. Different can be good. Different can lead you to your creativity. Different can be, people are scared of different.
Yeah.
If they don't understand it, or they have not been touched by it, they will not understand it. So that's what I want to speak on and give life into people, because I've been there. And I wish I had that when I was growing up, because I've had teachers. I've always wanted to go to school and main college and stuff, and they told me I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, whether it's because my skin color,
right,
or my impairment, or had speech impairments. I had to go to learn how to speak and stuttering, and my mom said, "Now you can't shut up." So, but all that brings us to our creativity, being able to be open and honest, being open to know when you need help, when to pick it up, when to be around people, and when not to be around.
That's right.
When to have certain people in your life, and that's the hard part. That's the hard part, because some of the people in your life will be the most detrimental, that are the closest to you.
Agree.
And that's a decision where that willpower and that strength has to come in, and you have to say, do I just suck it up, put it under the rug, and it still affects my mental health, or do I just do something, get up, deal with it,
forward,
and
right?
move forward.
So you mentioned something a little bit earlier when we talk about creativity. Something that I think a lot of creators, whether you're in film, music, the arts, theater, broadcasting, TV, wherever medium that you're in, there's always a period of no.
Yes.
Before you get that one yes.
Yes.
That just says, oh, I like your stuff.
Yes.
And that one yes kind of moves you on to that next step.
That next level.
And that next step. And whatever that next step means to you as a creator, right? But how does dealing with rejection, does it inspire you, or does it lose interest for the business of creative arts?
That's a good question. If you would have asked me this question a few years ago, maybe a few months ago, a few years ago, I would have been like, I don't deal well with rejection. I shut down. And when I first started, I'll give you an example. When I first started really getting in the creative space, and was going through therapy, somebody was like, why don't you do art? I said, I can't paint, but it's therapeutic. Just paint on the canvas. You don't have to, it don't have to look good. Don't have, that's about being creative. It doesn't have to look good.
That's right.
You just painting.
Just
you're just doing it. You're just getting it out. Whether it's spoken word, whether it's painting, film, you're just getting it out, because once you start getting it out, then the skills start coming. You start doing it, and then you're like, oh, kitchen fire and stuff. And then for me, rejection was always a thing. I was always rejected. I never felt like I fit in my own space at home or out in the public. I'm a loner. I don't have a lot of friends. And that could be, for me, my mental health, that's a good and bad thing. Okay. So it's not one answer. A good thing for me, not having a lot of people, keeps me in line
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
I can definitely
Because-
see that concept.
Because if I have too many people in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I never really, being a preacher's kid, I never was out in the community. Like, you know, you go to church, you go home, you come home, you do your schoolwork, blah, blah, blah. You can't hang out, do certain things, right? So I never, you know, I didn't go to my darn prom. I didn't go to parties, you know, and so that was like, I didn't have that social aspect until I got into adulthood.
Yeah.
So imagine in creativity and the rejection when people say no. That took me a minute. And getting to the point where that I am now, it fuels me. So when somebody says no, I'm like, okay, no problem. All right. But and not to be cocky.
No, not at all.
Right? And not to be because I try to be very humble. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I need this. I'm so sorry. Turn this off.
I probably will have to cut from there, but
Okay, but I'm sorry. We'll put this down. I'll put it on right. Yeah, it's not good. It's not bad. Because too many people. Because I didn't have all that social skills, I want to be seen. It's easy to get puffed up. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And you don't want to fall into that trap of being puffed up. Because puffed up, and it's good to talk about yourself and boast and accept your accomplishments, but also stay humble. And you're around too many people that might not be the right inspiring people or feeding into you the right way can be damaging.
I agree. And I don't even know if I shared this with you. And you mentioned when you first started, right? How you was feeling with the rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got that yes, that was that kind of like that motivation to keep going, right?
Well, when you get that yes makes you feel like you have accomplished something.
Yeah.
Like somebody sees you or sees your work and realize the what's the word I want to use? The potential of your skills.
Yeah.
You might not have all the skills yet, but you have the potential to go further and go forward with it.
I agree.
And once I got to that point where I was like, you know what, I'm in it. This is what I want to do. And it take a while because I find that everybody has a purpose in life. And you want to find what your purpose is. Because, you know, we are, and I'm gonna go deep here with you real quick.
Okay.
And some people might not like it, but I'm gonna go deep.
Okay.
We are all born to die. We are born into this world, but we are born to die.
Right.
We're not gonna be here forever. Right? So it goes back to your purpose. God has a purpose for all of us, whether it's God, Allah, whoever you believe in, has a purpose. And your journey, your struggles will push you to your purpose, whatever that purpose is.
So on that note, let me share with you this story. In high school, I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. So in high school,
be careful to do that.
In high school, I remember sitting in my global studies class, because that's what they used to call back then, global studies. I don't even think high school got them global studies now.
History.
But it's history. So I was in my global studies class, and we was having a test, and I finished the test early. And you know, back then, you pretty much stayed in your seat or stayed in the class until the bell ring if you finished the test.
Yeah.
And that was how my teachers in high school were.
Yeah.
And I turned over my sheet, and I started doodling. Just doodling. Didn't think nothing of it. Scribbles on the sheet. Bell ring, handed my test,
Mhm.
left the class.
Mhm.
That next week, and this probably was in 93.
Mhm.
Yeah, 93,
Okay.
1993.
Mhm.
Next week, I come back to the class.
Mhm.
Teacher's handing out the papers.
Mhm.
She hands me mine. I see that I got an A minus.
Okay.
I turn it around, and she wrote on top of it, "You have a great use of words. Keep going." I did not realize that 15 minutes that I was sitting in the classroom waiting for it to end, I actually wrote my first poem. And by that time, I was about 15, so I knew about poetry. I'm into listening to music. I'm a hip hopper, so I came up with hip hop was just coming out.
Yes.
So you're getting all that vibe,
Yes.
and that one scribble on a piece of paper, and for that teacher to recognize that I have a play with words. I don't even remember what I wrote, but I just know that memory because, like you said, that one just sparks that motivation for you to keep going. And she don't even know, I still think to this day, what that meant to me.
And saying that, Mike, that is what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
because this is why I want to speak to the kids.
That's right.
This is why I want to speak to those that are coming up in spaces that are in school and are struggling at home, or have these word plays and learning that scribble on paper in class, and teachers don't think they're paying attention.
Right.
But they're paying attention, but they're scribbling. You have no idea. And you wrote down words, and your teacher was like, "Oh no, you have a gift."
That's right.
And your gift made you not like us.
Ah.
Your gift
Mm.
made you different. Your gift. Now, the not like us came a way of where you felt in a place, and I'm going to bring it to where you brought it to, because you brought it to hip hop. That's why we have Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick is for the culture.
Mm.
Drake and other rappers, the new rappers, are rap.
Mm.
They don't know the culture. They don't know the struggle of hip hop. They don't really understand. So not like us. You're not like us.
Mm.
You will never understand where we come from. Kendrick Lamar. Kids love Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick. I've seen him one time already, and get ready to go see him back in June in Hershey. His teacher, if you read the stories about Kendrick now, and that's coming out, his teacher, his poetry teacher, had him learn how to do poetry. Just like you.
Mm-hmm.
He would scribble, and he found out that he would make him go read the dictionary and
learning words and
how to do wordplay, and he never knew that. And Kendrick went to school, he graduated, went on, and the next thing the teacher heard, you hear this young man, K-Dot talking about you. It's K-Dot, Kendrick Lamar. You helped him be who he was.
That's beautiful.
So that's what I'm saying. That is a great connection, and that's what I want to bring to other people, no matter how old you are.
Well, Mike, I can sit here and talk with you all day, but I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires you to look towards the future?
If I can sum it up, I started off my chapter in a book. I was born. Here's the beginning, and this is the end. I'm writing my story in my pages in between to get to my end. And what I want, hopefully, is somebody when that book closes, hopefully somebody have seen my art, or heard me speak, or saw something that I've done to inspire them to find their purpose and move forward.
Well, I can tell you during this, you helped me find my purpose and move forward. Just sitting next to you and listening to that side of yourself? We went deep 3 different times in a matter of a short period of time.
Yeah, man, we can go deep. We can go really deep.
Well,
man.
tell all of us, where can we find you, Michael?
Okay, so you can find me. I'm definitely on social media. I'm on Facebook at Michael Freeman. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn at Michael Freeman. My email is michaelfreeman, all one word, 3873.mf, my initials, at gmail.com. I'm working on the website now, so I don't have the website, but if you need to get in contact with me, you can contact me through Messenger. I will also leave my number. You can call me. I'll leave that with you. You can post that. And then also, wherever I'm going to be, I will post my events. And I'm on Instagram at Paintings by Freeman. So when you go to Instagram, you'll see a couple of different you'll see Michael Freeman 360. You can get in contact with me on any of those sites, platforms. But that's where you'll find me.
Well, it's been an honor and a privilege to sit here with you and to learn a little bit more about you and your journey. And bringing your artwork to the world is so much. It's needed. It's needed.
I'm
so
trying.
Thank you for joining us. And please, you're a friend to the show, and I look forward to having you on again and continue to grow with you, right, in your artwork. So please, if you want to get in touch with Michael, please look out for him on all social media. There will be a link to all of his links and social media and profiles to where you can reach out to Mike. And again, thank you for tuning in to the Indepth Arts and Care podcast. Remember to follow us and stream us on all of your streaming platforms. Till next time.
Hello, my name is Michael Freeman. I'm a visual artist. I have a visual impairment and legally blind, but I'm here to bring you into my world to show you and talk about some of my art pieces today. So as you see here, this is some of my art pieces. This is Stop Hate. I want to talk about Stop Hate because in this day and age in our climate, how there are a lot of hatred unnecessarily that's out there. So this is just showing you and people to think about not hating each other. And then as you go across here, this is a painting I did for 69 News, explaining my process as a visual artist that has a disability. So this painting, as you can look and see, I don't know how well you can see it, but it has an image of a woman in there. So this is like my type of Mona Lisa painting. And then as you look up here, there's a painting that's very colorful, has a lot of colors. You have a black UV light, it glows with the colors, and it has FP on it for Freeman Paintings. Just a representative representing my brand. And then this one over here talks about Not Like Us, explaining how as a person with disability or any diversity background, how we are not like everybody, we are different, but we are in our own lane where we need to all come together and unify in diversity. And then the other one here, as you see, is a graffiti piece. I like to do graffiti art and just representing graffiti from the era where I came from, growing up in New York and New Jersey. So that's just some of my artwork, some of my pieces. So you can go to my link, you can go to the podcast, you can follow Michael Judson. He has all the podcasts and my artwork and all my information. Thank you once again.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, share the podcast on social media, or guest on the podcast or review. Follow us at Indepth Arts and Care on streaming platforms.